from Pre-Algebra. It's Mr. Mac. You guys have a sub today, but you know the drill by now. You're going to complete the warm-up to the best of your ability. Then you'll fix any blunders that you see on the video. Then you're going to complete the notes just like class. So the warm-up, press pause if you haven't done it, then press play when you're ready to review. Okay, so hopefully you had time to work this out. Check your answer with a partner. Number 1 should be m equals 46. Number 2, notice how I put 2.25 on top of the multiplication problem. If you have 3 digits and 2 digits, it's just a lot simpler to organize it 3 and then 2. 22.05 should have been your answer. Number 3 is a beast of a problem, and hopefully you had some healthy discussions and maybe a tad bit of good frustration with it. It's really hard, and if you don't have it at all, just write down what I have. We know a few things. We know that Karen is 10 years older than Gary today. So today, Karen is 10 years older. Okay, there's Karen. But then you also know another thing about it, that 2 years from now, in 2 years, Karen is going to be 3 times as old as Gary. Those two numbers, if we did it right, should actually equal each other because they're the 2 clues we get. And they both equal what Karen is. And so let's just isolate it for G, and we'll get Gary's age. We don't actually need to find Karen's age for this one. Let's start out by moving the G. And let's move the 2. And then finally divide. It looks like Gary is 4 years old. Man, you haven't seen problems a lot like this in notes, and I just want to get you to have some healthy discussion and a little bit of healthy frustration, because they can make your brain just go crazy, kind of like your grandma's old riddle book that made no sense if you went to her house and tried to figure out a few of them. I would never be able to solve it. It's healthy to just kind of wrestle a few times with problems like that. So let's put a statement. Gary is 4 years old. Probably not doing these types of problems, but you never know. Maybe Gary's a genius. I don't doubt it, Gary. Good job. To solve a problem with more than one unknown quantity, you may be able to represent both of the unknown quantities with only one variable. To solve for a variable, you need the equal sign. And that's what we did. All right, next page, please. You have 3-2 from Wednesday's work. I want you to just hold that to the side in your packet. You're going to have time to work on that today. We're going to start out with this aim. Students will be able to understand distance time graphs. So Juan and Antonio are in a bike race. That's all you know. In the y-axis, it's showing you time, or distance, excuse me. Distance, go back. In the y, it's showing you distance. So up and down is the distance. Left and right is showing you the time. That's the x. So if I was in class, I'd have you look at this for about a minute, just silently. And then I'd have you turn and talk to your partner and tell them who wins. You could pause the video, raise your hands, you could chat, and just put who wins, circle their name, give them a trophy, anything you want. Hopefully you've had time to discuss it, and almost like 3/4 of the class usually says that Antonio won. Well, because he got to the finish line first. Here's the problem. The distance is what you're measuring going up and down. And it was the first person to get to 4 miles. If you draw the little 4 line right here, who gets to 4 miles first? Well, it's Juan, not Antonio. There's usually a good sense of some grumbling and some, oh, that's not true, and some arguing with me, but in the end, I always win the argument, and you're going to put that Juan wins the race. We know that Juan wins the race because if you look at the bottom, it takes him about 13 minutes to get to the finish line of 4 miles. The time is the left and right, so he gets there in 13 minutes and he finishes the race before Antonio. He finishes about 4 miles in 13 minutes, and that is faster than Antonio. Antonio finished in about 15 minutes. Okay, so we know who won. Describe what Antonio did in the race over time. Look at the green. And Antonio is going to go riding, and he starts out getting to about the 1 mile mark in 3 minutes. It doesn't, it actually takes Juan like 5 minutes to get there. So he's crushing it. He's doing really good up until this point. He's going to keep going, and he's winning. He's at the 2 mile mark. Antonio's or Juan is lagging behind. He's the black line. So Antonio's green. He's doing really good for half the race. Then what happens? Well, he gets like a flat tire or something. He doesn't move. He doesn't go up to the distance. He doesn't go from 2 to 3 for a good, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, from 5 to 7. So he's not moving at all. And then he slowly heads to the finish line and finishes after. So describe that as best you can. Antonio starts the race really fast. But he stops at mile 2. Then rides slowly to the finish. How do I know he rides slowly? Well, the curve is really, really gradual. All right, so poor Antonio, he was promising, didn't pan out. Describe what Juan did in the race. Juan is the black line. Juan starts out fairly slow, but then right about the 7-minute mark, maybe 6 to 7, he picks up the pace and passes Antonio. He gets a little tired at minute 11, but finishes before him at the 4 mile mark. So we'll say that Juan starts slowly. gets faster between. He got faster right around like the 6 to 7 minute mark. Between 6 to 7 minutes. Then he slowed down at the end. Which biker stops in this race? Well, we already looked at that weird flat part. It looks like Antonio stopped for about 5 to 7. So between minutes 5 and 7, he stopped for 2 whole minutes. That was Antonio. Antonio stopped for 2 minutes. When are the bikers in the exact same place? Well, they cross right here. So they're in exactly the same place. They might say hi to each other, good job, or maybe just like throw mud at each other if they're very competitive. Hopefully not. Minute 7, 6, 7, 8. They're at the same place. Is there any time in the race where either of these functions decreases? Let's check. Well, decreasing, remember, would have to be a graph going down in the y value. As x gets bigger, none of them go down at all. So no, they're all doing okay. None of them head back to the start line. When is Juan biking faster than Antonio? We're going to look for the part that's steeper than Antonio, and he's biking faster at about the 6 to about the like 9 or 10 minute mark. So between 6 to 10 minutes. And when is Antonio biking faster? Antonio starts really strong between minutes 1 to 5. And he's also actually biking faster probably at minute 12 and 15 because 1 is stopped. So let's say 1 to 5, 12 to 15. Okay, you're on bronze. Go ahead and look at this graph with a partner. Try to figure out what's going on in the race. Check your answers with them. You don't have answers for today's packet, but you can check around with a partner. Once you finish this, you may have some extra time. Before picking up homework, I want you to go back to 3-2 and work on the bronze from yesterday. We did not finish bronze. Go ahead and work on that before homework. If you finish bronze from both 3-2 and 3-3, pick up a homework page and you can get that started. All right, guys, that's the way the cookie crumbles. As always, have fun.